Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, the Brooke Ashley, and today we are here to discuss The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 1, Episode 8. Before we get on into it, I just want to say it is New Year's Eve, y'all. 2020 is on its way out. We are about to be ushering in a whole new year. So I wanted to do this review. You already know I got the champagne here. You know, that good old Veuve Clicquot. You know what I'm saying? And I have my little New Year's party hat. And I just want to wish you all a healthy, a blessed, a very prosperous 2021. Whatever you accomplished, whatever you were unable to accomplish this year, the fact that you made it through this year is a blessing and a whole feat in and of itself, okay? So pat yourself on the back for that and let out some praise, honey, because so many people did not make it, and the fact that we are here above ground, that is a huge blessing. So I just want to say cheers. Y'all are the best. Y'all have made this year so much fun. And to have a fabulous year on YouTube, like, it is always so surreal seeing all the comments being left on my videos, like starting from scratch. And a year later, we are here with 3,400 subscribers and still counting every single day. And I am just so blessed for all the love. I'm so blessed for all of the engagement. Like, you could have watched anybody else and you chose to take some time out of your days to watch me. And please know, I don't take that for granted at all. So I just want to say to you guys again, I love you all. I'm praying that we all have an amazing 2021. Let's get on into this recap. Let me tell you something. This episode gave me what I need. I'm going to be giving a few people the blues in this episode. We start off this episode and we see Mary in the first scene. She's FaceTiming her son and she's like, honey, when you buy purses for your little girlfriend, do you know that I see the credit card statement? Like, you didn't use your own money for this purse. You used my money. And don't buy any more Prada purses for this girl because those purses are expensive and they will probably be outlasting your relationship. Don't do it again. But, you know, they're laughing and he's laughing on the phone. He's like, okay. I'm like, Mary, that boy is in love, in lust, and he is 17, 18, so first love. Honey, please, he's going to be buying more purses on your credit card. He's going to be buying jewelry, flowers, the whole nine. There's nothing you can do, okay? So I thought that part was funny. The next scene is Heather. Heather is with her, I think, business partner, and they are building a new beauty lab that's going to be even bigger than the current beauty lab. I have to say, Heather must have a long coin between those big alimony and child support checks from her ex-husband, who was Mormon royalty and was damn near a billionaire, to these beauty lab coins, plus this cute little Housewives check. She's pulling in the cash. Heather just talks about how she's just so excited for how Beauty Lab is just growing and thriving. Like, she says her personal life may be, you know, messed up, but her career life is just booming, doing amazing. So then Heather talks about how she's just so proud of herself and how far she's come because she remembers when she was married. And when she was married to her ex, she wasn't working because they had limitless money. Like, the funds just did not stop. So there was no need for her to work. But then when she started taking classes because she was interested in, you know, in beauty and opening this up, her husband kind of made disparaging remarks like, okay, so how much money did you make with your little job? Like $400? And she was like, it wasn't about the money. It was just about the fact that she was being independent and had something to call her own. I really enjoy seeing Heather in her beauty lab. She just seems so happy, so at peace there. You can tell she really loves it. You can tell that her employees really like working for her. She seems like a really great boss. And I'm telling you right now, Heather, when I come down to Salt Lake City, girl, I want to go to your beauty lab and I want to get a few procedures done. I love that sort of stuff. But I digress. Let's move on. So the next scene is Meredith. She is at her store and she's FaceTiming with her son, Brooks. Brooks is determined to make sure he stays in a scene. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? Like, why do I always have to hear that nasally, annoying voice? Oh my gosh. Brooks's voice drives me nuts. And I have to say, Meredith's voice kind of drives me nuts too. It's very, like I said, vocal fry, Kardashian-esque. Like, so Meredith lets Brooks know that she's waiting for Seth to come. He's actually coming back to Utah for a few days, and she also tells him that they are going snowboarding with Jen and the other couples. Brooks lets it be known that he is still angry with his dad for not showing up to the fashion show. He's pissed. Meredith understands completely. And then Seth comes in the door and she gets off the phone with Brooks and Meredith and them embrace. She lets Seth know that Brooks is still angry at him and that he needs to apologize. And Seth makes up an excuse about how, since their marriage is on the rocks, he didn't want to come because he didn't want their marriage problems to overshadow. Seth has too many excuses as to why he can't be with his family and be a good husband. And it's very annoying to me. That's a very poor excuse to say, well, I didn't want our marriage issues to overshadow Brooks's big day, so that's why I didn't come. Like, that's BS. You're a grown man. You should be able to put whatever is going on to the side for your child. And it's not like you and Meredith are volatile and you guys are screaming and yelling. Like, yeah, you guys get into it, but it's not so bad and things aren't so strained to where you guys can't be in the same room or at the same event for your own kid. Like, that was just so bogus to me. Meredith was like, look, you need to apologize to Brooks because his feelings are hurt, you know, and that's just that. Then Seth talks about how he really misses Meredith and he wants to get their marriage back on track and he's willing to do whatever needs to be done for them to be back together and just be back whole again because he just still loves his wife and he wants to make it work. And Meredith is like, you know, I miss you too and I want to make this work. I'm all in. And I'm like, Seth, the magic pill for you and Meredith to be okay is if you stop traveling so damn much and you spend some time with her and your children. Like, I don't understand why Seth keeps saying, I want to be all in, but then he refuses to make the necessary changes for them to be a cohesive family and a cohesive married couple again. I'm just not understanding, like, what the disconnect is. I have to say, nobody on this show has a good marriage except for Whitney and Justin. They are the only two who seem to be in love and determined to make it work, and they actually spend quality time together, okay? We see Lisa and her husband. I think her husband's name is John. Y'all know how I feel about Lisa. I wanted to like her, but I find Lisa to be self-centered, and there's like nothing going on in her brain. She's just like not all there. John really wants Lisa to scale back on work and he wants to spend some time with his wife. I said it's like the opposite. We have two wives who are begging their husbands to be home and spend some time with them. And now we have a husband who's begging his wife to spend time, you know, with him and the kids. John just says, I feel like it's the business first, because remember, they own a tequila line that I've never heard about, but that's neither here nor there. He says it's business first, and then it's the kids, and then we're at like the bottom. And I'm like, oh, absolutely not. John lets Lisa know that he is not trying to take on any more work, any more projects. He wants to spend time and enjoy his time with his wife and them having fun. Lisa's like, well, you know, I love working and I receive millions of DMs, especially after Sundance, And like, I just love it. And she's like, I can multitask. Like, I can be on my phone and still listen to what you're saying at the same time. Because remember how John said in last week's episode that he feels like she's always on her phone, doesn't listen to him. Lisa, let me tell you something right now. I find that to be so disrespectful and so rude when somebody's trying to have a conversation with you and you're on your phone. Get off your damn phone and look somebody in their eyes and show somebody that you're listening. Lisa starts crying in the confessional about how she feels guilt when she is away from her kids and she just doesn't want her kids to feel like she doesn't love them. Y'all, I'm not gonna lie to you. I was just kind of bored with Lisa's storyline. I feel like we see that a lot, like I guess I'm just irritated with Lisa because it's like, if she would just put her phone down and just listen to what her husband has to say, things could go a lot smoother and a lot easier, and she wouldn't feel so bad about things. But she acts like she knows everything. You can't talk to her. She gets defensive every time her husband says one little thing and says how he would like to spend some more time with her. She gets upset about it. So it's like you're crying in the confessional about how you feel guilty, but then the next breath to your husband, it's like, well, I want to keep working. It's like, girl, which one is it? But Lisa, girl, you need to listen to your husband, spend some more time with him, spend some more time with the kids, and scale back. I'm sure you guys have a full staff that can take care of the tequila brands, okay? So the next scene is what I really want to get into, okay? Whitney and her husband Justin go to the sober living facility to see Whitney's dad. We find out that Whitney's dad texted her frantically. He sent an SOS text because he found out that he is going to be getting a roommate in the sober living facility, and he told them that he doesn't want a roommate. He wants to have his own room, and that's that. They get to the facility, and it's Whitney's dad, Whitney's husband Justin, and the dad's counselor. I think Whitney's dad's name was Steve. Steve starts talking about how he does not want a roommate, and that was one of his stipulations, that he will not have a roommate. And then he goes into how he wants to get out of the sober living facility because he's ready to go and make some money again. So Whitney is like, okay, Dad, so let me ask you something. Have you started looking for jobs? And he's like, no, I haven't. So I said, how does that go? How are you telling your daughter you want to bust out of sober living, but you haven't even started to look for jobs? So then her dad starts talking about how he's going to need some help. And we already know what help means. He means financial help from Whitney and Justin. So Whitney's like, Dad, we've been down this road before where I helped you financially, and it was like a burden on me because you pretty much forced me to pay for it. Now here's where I have to let Steve have it. Steve, I've been rooting for you and your recovery. But when Whitney told us in that confessional that the first time you relapsed and were sent to rehab, you pretty much told her she had to pay for it and that you were entitled to her help, because she said that you read off a list of everything that you had paid for her when she was a child, her education, clothes, etc. I am so tired of these parents who feel like they're doing their kids a favor by providing for them. You had the kid. The kid didn't have you, you dummy. What the F are you talking about? You're a parent. You're supposed to take care of your kid. I hate parents who think that they deserve a medal for doing what they're supposed to do. I also really don't like how a lot of parents kind of feel like, well, you're doing well now, so you got to take care of me. And Whitney said it right. She said, I want to help you out, Dad, but I don't want to feel resentful of you. I don't want to feel like you feel entitled to my money just because I'm the kid. That's not how this works. The day I decide to have children, my future kids will be set for life, and if they need me for anything at any age, they will always have my financial help. Because again, I chose to have kids. They didn't choose to be here. And I know that I can always go to my parents for any assistance, no matter how old I am. That's the way it's supposed to be. The way I would not have paid for Whitney's father's treatment when he pulled out a list and told me all the things that he did for me when I was growing up, absolutely not. Whitney's dad then apologized to her, and he said, I don't want to be a burden on you guys, and I'm appreciative of everything that you've done for me. But I just kind of feel like that was a very weak apology to me, and he's just saying it so that he can get some more money out of her when he does leave this sober living facility and needs help starting up his businesses again and, getting back on his feet. But I just said, Whitney, you're better than me, because the first time he would have pulled that mess on me, talk about, well, this is what I did for you when you were growing up, I would be like, you know what? You can go kick rocks. I'm not helping. Steve, I'm still rooting for you, but I'm looking at you with the side eye. Don't pull it again. And you better stay at that sober living house for the full 90 days. Talking about he don't want a roommate. Child, let me get on to the next scene, please, because I just got so upset talking about that. So the next scene, it is the big day of Jen's snowmobiling excursion. So all the couples are coming. Seth and Meredith get there, and Seth really loves Sharif. Like, they have such a bromance. It was cute to watch. I said, well, I'm sure they do have a bromance because they have so much in common with them never being home. All the couples are getting there. Whitney and Justin, Meredith and Seth, Lisa and her husband John, and Heather is there. And Heather is single, honey, but she's there in good spirits. So they're all gearing up. And can I tell you, that looked like so much fun. I was like, I cannot believe that this show has me wanting to go to Utah. Like, I'm seriously looking up like a cute little winter trip to Salt Lake City. And they have a cute Waldorf Astoria in Park City. That's where I'll be staying, okay? But I was like, oh my gosh, like, I want to go to SLC now. It looked like so much fun. It was so funny because I think it was Whitney and Justin, they were riding and they fell off of their snowmobile. That was funny, but everybody else is getting it. Lisa and her husband, Heather, is doing really well. She's just riding along. So they're all, racing around, having a good time. And then they all meet up at the top of the mountain and they're just chilling and talking. And so they're going around talking about their marriages. I think it was Lisa who asked Sharif how he and Jen met, and he said they met in college. He talks about how their first date, Jen brought her whole entire family with her to chaperone them, and so how he had to pay for everybody's dinner and stuff like that. So he just said that he thought that Jen was just the most beautiful woman he had ever laid eyes on, and he talks about how he loves how Jen is just so sweet. So then everybody's kind of like, sweet? Like, Jen is not sweet. And so Heather is joking because she's like, love must truly be blind because Jen is everything but sweet. And I started laughing. So then in the confessional, Jen talks about how she is just so elated when Sharif is home and how she just wishes that she could just have more of that. Like, she would just kill for her husband to be home way more often. And then we flip back to them talking in the group, and I think it was either Lisa again who asked Sharif like how long he was in town, and he's like, oh, I'm only back here for the night. I was like, excuse me? Excuse me? I'm sorry, but nobody is that damn busy. So then everybody breaks off to leave and get changed because you guys remember they're also going to be having lunch at Jen and Sharif's home. So while everybody is leaving, Whitney makes a remark in her confessional about how weird it is seeing Meredith and Seth being so lovey-dovey and affectionate with each other because of what Jen told her last week's episode at her house about how Meredith has a side bae. So while they're all leaving, Whitney pulls Heather aside and she's like, hey, have you heard anything about Meredith and Seth? Because Jen told me that Meredith might be seeing somebody else at my house a few days ago. So then Heather is like, look, it's not my business. I'm staying out of it. It's none of our business. Like, who are we to judge? Nobody needs to be talking about anybody's marriage. It's just none of our business. So then Whitney is still poking around like, look, Jen told me XYZ. Has she told you anything? So Heather admits that, yes, Jen did tell her something. And then we find out that Jen, when her and Heather were hanging out, showed Heather some pictures of Meredith with another man. But we both promised that we would never bring it up and we would not discuss it because it's not our business. So then Heather is now looking at Jen kind of sideways like, Jen, me and you just made a pact that we would not bring this up or say anything to anybody else. So now I'm like questioning your loyalty because it's like, wow, you're sitting up here telling everybody around town, telling Whitney, Lottie, Dottie, everybody about what Meredith might possibly be doing. Jen, like I told you in last week's recap, you have a lot of explaining to do. This isn't even shade, but you really shouldn't have that much to say about Meredith and Seth's marriage or whatever is going on when your marriage to Sharif is on shaky ground. Like, you and Meredith low-key have a lot in common. He's never home either. You're sitting up here dealing with similar issues yourself. Like they always say, you need to sweep around your own front door. You're about to lose your friendship with Meredith because you're going around spreading her business. And that's not cool. So now we are back at Jen and Sharif's chalet. They all prepare a nice spread of food. Sharif's like, hey, you know, we have drinks here, whatever you guys want. And Seth is just so, I guess, fascinated by Islam. Because remember, Sharif and Jen are Muslim because Jen converted to Islam for Sharif when they got married. So Seth is like, in Islam, can you drink? And Sharif's like, no alcohol. Can you have premarital sex? No, we can't. And he says, like, what about multiple wives? And Sharif is like, actually, multiple wives in Islam is still permissible. Now, that was funny to me because Jen was talking to the ladies and she wasn't paying him no mind, but the minute he was talking about other wives, she heard that and was like, absolutely not. Like, one of me is enough. Like, I'm like 40 women in one. Then Seth is like comparing, I guess, Islam to Mormonism. And remember, Seth and Meredith are both Jewish. So then Seth goes on to ask Lisa what it's like being Mormon owning a liquor company. And so Lisa's giving these roundabout answers about how she's more so spiritual and she's not a regular Mormon. And at the end of the day, God doesn't care about her owning a liquor company. So then Seth makes a joke about how in Judaism, like if they found out you owned a liquor company, they would be having a party and they'd have like the chairs up for you like they do at a lot of Jewish weddings. And they even do that at bar and bat mitzvahs. I've been to quite a few bar and bat mitzvahs in my day, honey. They are so much fun. But I digress. So they're laughing and joking. And then Jen is like, we are going to split up girls and the guys. We're going to hang out in the hot tub and then you guys can bond and just play. So now this was like the last scene of the episode. And when I tell you, it was quite juicy and it was quite telling. Jen, Lisa, Meredith are in the hot tub talking about their marriages. Lisa says that she just wants her husband to take care of her because he's supposed to take care of her. Jen talks about how she is just really lonely and how she really gets angry when she asks Sharif about like why he's always gone. She talks about how she's still hurt that Sharif did not attend her father's funeral. I told y'all off rip that that's just unacceptable and I would probably be drawing up divorce papers if my husband could not attend my parents' funeral because he was too busy working. That's unacceptable. Meredith is just listening. She's asking Jen, like, has she expressed herself? Like, you know, is she talking to Sharif about, him spending more time at home. Jen says, she tries to ask Sharif to come travel with her because she travels for her line of work. Something in the milk ain't clean with Sharif and Jen's marriage. Nobody is that busy. Sharif, from what I remember, Jen said in the first episode, he's the assistant coach. So he's not even the head coach. I understand that for D1 schools, you do have to recruit and try to sign top-notch talent, but you cannot convince me that you need to be gone every single day out the week to do that. That is unacceptable of the fact that you are always gone. Guys were talking. Sharif said that Jen is very reactionary and she goes below the belt and she just says things when she's angry. And I won't be surprised if Jen has been hurling out, "I want a divorce," when they get into arguments because he's always gone. Sharif didn't really answer the question and give a definitive answer when he was asked by the guys, how often is he home out the year? If LeBron James, Steph Curry, Russell Wilson, and all the other top-notch professional athletes can make sure that they spend some quality time with their loved ones, there's really no excuse for you, Sharif. I'm sorry. When Sharif said, "I've had my issues," we've all had our issues because marriage is hard and it's easy to just throw in the towel. I know I couldn't have been the only one who was like, is he trying to say that there was some infidelity? Because what does that mean? You're not clear. What are the issues that you've had? I don't understand how they're going to get on track if Sharif just is going to continue to choose working over his family. I thought it was troubling that he was only there for that day and was like going back the next morning. I'm like, what? Come again? So Lisa says to Meredith, "Meredith, would you be hurt if you found out that Seth were seeing somebody else?" And Meredith is like, "Yes, I would be hurt, but we're trying to work it out and right now we're all in." And Meredith says in her confessional, she doesn't want to say too much. Like, she doesn't want to tell everybody that they're back together because what if we end up going our separate ways? Like, I don't want to look stupid. So she's like, we're just going to try to work it out and just work it out in private, and then we'll tell people on a need-to-know basis. Jen makes it clear that she's not pleased with Meredith's answers, and she feels like, "Meredith, I'm sitting here bearing my soul, telling how I'm lonely, talking about how my marriage is on the rocks, and you're sitting here trying to have this facade like everything is perfect." And it's like, that's just not how it is. You're not perfect. Jen, I don't know what your gripe is with thinking that everybody needs to tell their business how you want them to tell it. Meredith has every right to disclose what she wants to disclose at her own pace. Who are you to tell somebody, "Well, I'm sitting up here bearing my soul"? Like, nobody told you to tell everybody your business. And don't get me wrong, I understand, because it's like nobody wants to feel like, it's one-sided where you're telling your soul and then your friend is sitting up there tight-lipped about their business. No. But Meredith is being honest with you guys. She is telling people something. She's not telling you as much as you want to know, but she is giving you something. Jen, girl, you need to sweep around your own front door. You have enough issues with your own marriage being on shaky ground. I don't think you need to worry about what Meredith is doing over there. And I don't know why you seem to be so pressed about how much she discloses. Y'all, this was a very good episode. I was thoroughly entertained. Again, I hope that you all have a wonderful, fun, safe New Year's Eve, however you decide celebrating. But you all know what to do. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you all later. Bye, guys.